Welcome back, everyone, to our gameplay series of Farm Manager 2018. So as I talked about in our last video in this series, we are going to now take a different turn, and we're going to do some shorter, more focused sense where we'll do maybe 1 to 2 or 3 videos, and we will just focus on one line of business. So we won't be trying to do what we had been doing up to this point, which is to try to do a little bit of everything, because at some point that just stretches you out so thin. There's a lot of things that get dropped and they fall between the cracks, and it sort of ruins the fun a lot for me because I don't like for that to happen. And it's very easy to happen when you have so many different things going on and you're still trying to focus on adding new things to our particular farm. So as you can see, we are on a fresh map. This is on medium difficulty with $750,000 starting money. That won't always be the case, but for this particular playthrough, we are going to not need any special training or anything like that to get started. So let's go ahead and get going. Of course, we're going to need to start out with some buildings. I'm going to start out with our farmer's house, and I tell you what, let's don't start there. Let's go ahead and put down a road, because we're going to need this later on, I'm sure. Okay, now that we got a road down, now we can add in our farmer's house, which I'm going to simply put right up top in the corner next to the road itself. Okay, as that is building, now we need to talk a little bit about what we're going to be focusing on. And for this, I chose, because it is our first sort of attempt to stray away from our original series, I've chosen something that we didn't get a chance to really get into in that particular series, and that is frozen food. So let's go ahead and start off. We're going to, again, need some road, so I'm going to stretch the road all the way to the end. And then let's come in under production buildings, and let's find our small frozen food factory. Now, you can see at the top there's a couple of things that are sort of shadowed out or grayed out that we can't do, but that is not because of training. That is simply because we don't have enough money right now. So there's the large frozen food factory. We'll get to it eventually, but right now we simply don't have the money or the cash flow to be able to do that. So we're going to start out with the small frozen food factory, which really isn't all that small. Okay, we can see on the left-hand side is where we're going to be coming and going. Let's see. Let's get this. Looks like that is going to be perfect. Okay, and we're going to try, because that didn't cost all that much money. Oops, we don't need that quite yet. Let's go back to production. Yeah, only $42,000. So yeah, we're going to be able to do multiple of these. But I'm going to go ahead and put a road in between each one. This road probably won't get used very much, if any. But for our purposes, we're going to go ahead and do it. Now let's see, frozen food factory. Let's go ahead and get a second one down. And there we go. It should be perfect. And I think that'll leave us enough room for one more at the bottom. If not, then we'll deal with that. But that's my plan, is to put one more at the bottom and hopefully still have enough room. In fact, let's just go ahead and take a look and see if I'm going to be able to do this. Okay, yeah, I think we're going to have enough room for our road, and still there, yeah, I can bring this all the way down to about here. So that is going to be perfect. Let's go ahead and drop that down. I'm trying to keep an eye on our money, because it would be just like me to go ahead and spend through all of our money before we get everything that we need, because obviously we're going to need some storage. Okay, frozen food. Perfect. All right, so we've got 3 of these loaded up, and the reason we have 3 of them is basically because that's all the room we have right now. And what we'll try to do over time is, of course, we'll need to upgrade our farmer's house, and that will give us the ability to purchase more land, and we'll just have to see how it goes. All of this is going to be determined by the profitability of this particular venture, and we are only going to focus on this. What I'm not going to be doing is I'm not going to do all of these trainings that don't specifically apply to what we need. So I'm not going to be doing things that are going to make machines more durable. I'm not going to make the employees stronger. I'm not going to be doing any of that that's not absolutely necessary for our gameplay. Okay, let's go ahead and put some roads down in between here. So we'll have our infrastructure in place as we move along. Can I put, yes, I can put a road there. Okay, so that's perfect. That lines up exactly how I would want to. Now we need to get into our storage. And first, let's see, we're going to need the cooling, obviously, because we're going to be dealing with fresh fruits as well as frozen fruits once we're done processing them. Let's see, let's try to cram as much of this as we can into this area, and that looks like that's the best we're going to be able to do right there. Okay, so what this means is we're going to have our outlets or income and the outflow from the buildings are actually going to come down this road in and out from the buildings, and then they're going to be able to come in right here. So this is going to be very short travel times for the workers. All right, so now our workers are ready to be hired here. We're going to let this thing go ahead and work its way out. And for that, let's see, we're going to need that, and then we need some housing. Okay, we're not going to need seasonal employees. We're going to need permanent. Okay, so I'm going to put our first one as far over as we can, because my plan is, as we continue to keep an eye on our finances, my plan is to actually do the same thing on the other side here. So we'll have 3 more of these, and of course roads that'll run through, but we'll have 2, maybe 3 more of these that will run their way through, and then we'll work this same sort of thing all along the map and see how much money we can actually get. Wow, this is taking a very long time to be built. So let's go ahead, and while that is working, even though we're on fast forward, let's go ahead and hire some employees. Okay, we're going to actually, how many of these were we going to actually need? Okay, 3 per each, so that's a total of 9. So yeah, we're definitely going to need additional housing, but that's okay. We can definitely do that. And we're not going to worry too much about the cost of these guys. Basically, all I'm looking for is this. I'm looking for this particular trait. This guy is actually really expensive. Let's see what we can find. There we go. I'm looking for that trait. Yeah, these guys are very expensive so far. But again, we're not going to worry too much about that. All right, there's our first 3. Let's go ahead and get these guys fully trained. Okay, manufacturing already fully trained on this guy. Now we need to, of course, we don't care about the animal side of things. That just happened to be along for the ride, that particular trait. All right, manufacturing is done. Let's go ahead and autofill on those guys. And what do we want to produce? Well, we've got 3 of them. Makes sense to do 1 in each. And you can see that we're going to have 100 kilograms is going to turn into 112.5. That 112.5 is simply because we have fully maxed out workers. So we're going to do cherry, and we're going to take all of the cherries that they can get from storage. All right, so cherries are going to be the first thing. So that's really good to be able to take and actually produce more frozen cherries than we're actually going to input for regular cherries. That is quite nice. So let's go ahead and put in cherries, and we're going to purchase these. Let's go ahead and let's get about 5,000. How much will that cost us? Okay, very little. So 11,800 for that. Let's go ahead and purchase that. Now we've got our storage in place. You can see our cherries are in delivery. And we will pin this over in the corner for right now. Okay, let's go ahead and hire some more. And let's see, oop, there we go. Again, paying no attention whatsoever to the actual cost of the workers. I am simply looking for one thing, and that is it. Okay, let's go ahead and fully train these guys. Okay, manufacturing done there. And manufacturing here, maxed out. And then finally, our third employee. Let's go ahead and autofill here. And we're going to do raspberries here. Okay, raspberries. I see that our cherries have been delivered, and it looks like 1,500 of them have already been taken into our production building. That is already started. Okay, so now we need to order some Raspberries. Raspberries, same thing. 5,000. Okay, much more expensive here. Much more expensive. And we'll get into here in just a moment, taking a look at how much we're going to be able to sell the frozen counterparts to these and all of that. So we'll take care of those here momentarily. But for now, we're down to 208,000. We know that we're going to need some additional housing. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Let's rotate this house in and squeeze it in there as much as possible. I think we might be able to get one more there, and then we can put a road in here and do some more housing in the back as well. Okay, let's go ahead and get our final two. Let's see, there we go. There's the trait I'm looking for. And come on. There we go. There's 4 out of 5 there. Again, very expensive. All right, let's put these two guys in this final one. And then let's go ahead and get one more. I'll tell you what. Let's come back out and go in again. Maybe we'll get what we're looking for, because it was pretty slim pickings. And it still is. Wow. Okay, I just need that one thing. Did I miss it? All right, let's take this off of fast forward for just a minute, because our hiring process, there we go. We just needed it to refresh and give us one more guy that we needed. Okay, so back to our training, maxing that out. I got a feeling we're going to be able to make some really nice money out of this, but we'll have to take a look at the specifics here momentarily and find out for sure. Okay, now we've got these guys up and going. This one is obviously going to be strawberries and do all of those. Did I do that here? No, I did not. Not that it's probably going to matter, because it was going to take anything above 0. But just to be on the safe side, we'll make sure that we get that infinity button pressed. Okay, so now we need some strawberries. Let's go to the market. Okay, let's grab some strawberries. Same thing here. 5,000. Okay, not quite as expensive, but still taking some of our money. We're down to 132,000 right now. And okay, so we've gotten things sort of up and running. You can see we've already got some frozen cherries that are in here. So let's do a couple of things. First, let's go ahead and add some things at the very top that we want to keep track of. And of course, one of those things would be our raw materials. We need our cherries up here. We need our, well, oh, there they are, raspberries. And then finally, what was our last one? Oh, the strawberries. Strawberries. I don't see them. We'll have to search for them. Strawberries. Okay, so those are our raw materials. You can see this will give us the ability to know when we're starting to run a little bit low on our stock, and we'll need to purchase more. So then after that, let's go ahead and get our frozen counterparts in here. Our final products, frozen cherries and frozen raspberries, and then frozen strawberries. Okay, that'll enable us to keep track of that. Now, we need to set up our auto sale. Okay, under sell, we'll come in under frozen cherries. And we'll take a look at the actual pricing here in just a moment. But for right now, I want to make sure we get our auto sales set up. So we got frozen cherry, frozen raspberry, and then we've got frozen. Of course, we don't have any of those just yet, but there we go, frozen strawberries. Now, that takes care of our auto sale. Okay, now we've got our first 3. And of course, we're not going to press our luck anymore right now with this. We got 132,000 that is currently in the bank, and we're going to try to let that grow a little bit before we get too excited and overbuild for the profit that we're going to be producing, hopefully very soon as the auto sale kicks in. Now, because we're dealing with a refrigerated environment here, we should be perfectly fine on how long these are going to last. Of course, you can see the frozen are going to last well into 2019. So essentially a year into the future. So those are definitely no problem. The auto sale will have taken care of that. But then if we look at our raw materials, 6/13 of 2018. So yeah, we've got what, over a month here, month and a half or so on those. So not bad at all. Okay, I see that our strawberries have now been brought in. 1,500 are going into the storage. Also, if we're thinking about the life of our raw materials, in this case, the fresh fruit, then one of the things that has happened in I'll call it a recent update, one of the more recent updates that the game has gotten, is that no longer do you have to worry about things spoiling when they're in your factories. And that's because spoilage is no longer an issue. Their life is infinite, or at least as long as it needs to be before they can be turned into the final product. So that's good. All we really have to worry about is keeping track of our storage and making sure that things go where they need to there. All right, so 132,000 in the bank. Now let's come back in and take a look at what we should be able to get in profits. Okay, so let's start out with the cherries. Okay, if we take a look at the cherries, and we're just going to be talking in approximations here. We don't need to get too specific, which we could on the buy screen. So we're going to call that $2.50 roughly. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. We already know our ratio is actually better than 1-to-1, meaning that for every cherry we purchase, then we're going to produce more than 100 frozen cherries. So we don't have to worry about that so much. So actually, that's very much in our favor. So about $2.50 there. So let's press the wrong button and get completely out of that. All right, so we've got our, wrong one again, frozen cherry. So again, $2.50. Now we see that our frozen counterpart is at $5.50. So better than double if we were looking at a 1-to-1 ratio. So yeah, we're in good shape to make some money there. Let's take a look at our raspberries. Let's also go ahead and fast forward a little bit so we can try to let this thing move along. Okay, raspberries. You can see prices have been tumbling. Wow, getting much cheaper, which is obviously good for us. So we're a little over $18 here. And let's click on the frozen. Wow, look at that. $29.50, working up its way up to $30. So that gives us a range that we're dealing with there. Let's bring them both up, and you can see that not quite double on that, but still plenty of room for us to profit. And then let's look at the strawberry. What do we have here? So about $7.25. And we're working very close to $20 now. So you can see the price is coming way down early on in the game. So one of the things we're going to have to look at moving forward is, how do these prices change and how much are we actually affecting the market, if any? We might not affect it any at all, but that's what we're going to find out. So as we continue to purchase strawberries, along with cherries and raspberries, of course, does that cause the price of those long term to go up? Do we have enough influence on the market for that? Particularly as we continue to expand and purchase more and more and more instead of the small quantities that we're now dealing with. And then over time, as we are selling the frozen strawberries, does that cause the price to go down on those, and thus minimizing our margins? And who knows, at some point, if we have enough effect on the market, then we might get to a point where this is no longer profitable for us to do at such a large scale. So for right now, 134,000. And let's come in under the economy tab, look under reports, and let's just go last month. Okay, so we start off with our income and look at the cherries. So the frozen cherries, we got about $2,500 worth of income there. What about expenses on cherries? So $11,950. But you can see we haven't sold all of our frozen items just yet either. And that's partially because right now we don't have the auto sale going very quickly at all. Our auto sale is, if we could upgrade the building, then we would get auto trade every week instead of every couple of weeks. So we're not at a point now where we really got the selling down pat, but our money is holding steady right now. And up at the top, you can see our production, and as things are being moved into our warehouse, things are really, really looking good. So we've got quite a bit of frozen product that is building up. Again, just waiting for that auto trade to come by and pick it up. And nope, I thought that truck might actually be it, because I haven't been paying close enough attention to the dates to know exactly when that's going to happen. But right now, we also have plenty of raw product that is remaining. And if I take a look at these dates, let's see, 5/8. Yeah, that's coming up pretty soon. So we are not making this. Wow, that is very quick that those actually are going to go bad. So we're going to lose some money there if I'm reading that right. It drives me nuts because in America, we don't do it like this. We put month, day, year, but here it's doing day, month, and year. You saw the auto sale come in and immediately, yep, you can see the raspberries are gone. Let's see, those are actually the second ones. How much did we get in the warehouse? They came by and picked some up. Okay, yeah, they didn't get enough. So the raspberries we didn't get the proper number there. Cherries are still perfectly fine. And the strawberries, yep, those are going to be an issue as well. So we're going to have to purchase those in smaller quantities. But you did notice a big jump in our money. Let's go back in and purchase some more, because obviously we're going to need some more of the raspberries. Okay, price continues to tumble for those. I'm just going to get a couple of thousand. There we go. Of course, that's going to bring our money totals back down. Still on fast forward, which is good. That's where I want to be. All right, still plenty of... we're not going to worry about delivering packages, even though that would be very easy to do. Again, we're just focusing on the task we have at hand. Okay, so we have plenty of cherries in there, plus we have a bunch that is in storage. Let's see what we've got. No actual raspberries right now, and no production going. Okay, so we're waiting for those new raspberries, new shipment to be delivered. Okay, it looks like in the meantime, they've got some work to do getting the raspberries out. There they go. And let's see how we're doing here. Still plenty of strawberries. Remember, each one of these production cycles, as you can see, the progress bar filling out, is 100 kilograms. So you see that we still have enough for a couple more cycles in here. Okay, did I see the new raspberries? Yes, I saw those come in. So we got plenty to last us a little while. 500 remaining in storage. Let's see what the date is on those. 6/2. Yeah, they just don't last very long at all. A couple of weeks is about all they're giving you there, as opposed to the cherries, which are definitely much more user-friendly. All right, we are also out of the strawberries. Okay, they came to get those. Let's go ahead and... So we got raspberries and then no strawberries. Okay, let's grab those, couple of thousand of those. So it looks like we're just going to have to buy smaller quantities. Again, since we're dealing with only one of each of these production buildings. So once we get our strawberries in, what should happen is that our production building, in fact, that might be about to happen. Yes, there go the strawberries, I'm sure. There we go. There's our notification, 2,000 strawberries. So then these guys are going to come out, grab the truck. They're going to come right over here, grab those strawberries, and then we'll have about 1,500 strawberries. There they go. And there we go. Everything looking good. So 500 for right now is about what we're going to be looking for. Let's take another quick look at our report. Oh, looks like we just got our auto trade, so that's perfect. So now we've made all of our purchases, and now the auto trade just kicked in. So we've now got all of our income as well for the time being. So let's look and see what we've got. Strawberries, 32,000. Let's see what our expenses are. Strawberries, okay, only 12,000 on the expenses there in the last month. So we're doing really nice. Frozen cherries, 14.4. And oh, that's right, we haven't purchased any cherries in quite a while. So let's go ahead and look at the raspberries. 50,000 on income and 32.9. So again, still making money on all of these, not taking into account any upkeep that we have for roads and buildings and so on. But you can see that our money is doing quite well, and overall, things are looking good. It might not be the most money that we could possibly make, but that's not the point. The point is just to have some fun with it and see what we can do for this and really expand this. We've got the foundation down pat now. Okay, now that I've got sort of an idea of where we are, I'm going to go ahead and set up some more road work. And again, we're going to try to use all the space that we can. And let's go ahead and set up another production building. And I think I might set up a few more for the cherries. We'll have to see. And the reason I'm saying the cherries, let's make sure we get this rotated around so that it's facing as close as possible to, so that the outlets and the entrances to the buildings are lining up as close as possible to our storage, and which of course will give us close as possible to our worker buildings. Okay, let's go ahead and hire. Once again, all I'm looking for is this particular trait for the production. There's a couple of them back to back. There we go. There's 3 of them. Now let's come into our training and max these guys out. This training is really very cheap in the long term. When you look at it long term, it is definitely very cheap to go ahead and max these guys out. All right, let's see how we're doing. We're finally starting to get a little bit lower on the cherries, but otherwise we've still got a good amount of the other 2 items. There we go. Let's go ahead and let's see. Do we want to do cherries? It's not as profitable. Strawberries are actually the most profitable, I believe, if memory serves me correct. So let's go ahead and do strawberries. So now that I am going to attempt, because very quickly you can see they come and they take the strawberries. I think what I want to do, as we need to order both of these, I think what I want to do, let's go ahead and do strawberries, and let's do a couple of thousand. And we also need to get raspberries. Couple of thousand there. I wish they just lasted a little bit longer. That's the main thing. Okay, so do we have room in our budget for any more? Okay, so we're going to need some more housing. That's going to be another 30,000, but more quickly we're going to need 42,000 for another factory. So again, we're going to continue growing this, but we're not going to grow so quickly that we run ourselves out of money, hopefully. So that's where it really comes in handy to speed up the auto trade to every week. If you can do that every week, then you keep a steady supply of money coming in rather than money only coming in every so often, every few weeks, and it makes it a little bit harder to plan in the early stages. As time goes on, it takes care of itself because you have enough production going on to really help yourself out. But for right now, it presses us a little bit for cash. Okay, so what did we decide to do here? We did strawberries there, so I've got myself a little bit out of order. That'll be very helpful. I'm sure that'll come back to haunt me. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate this around. And let's see, how do I want to do this? I'll tell you what, we'll just stick with this. I was thinking about bringing the road through there, but I really don't think we're going to have to worry about that a whole lot as we continue to expand over, purchase more land, and go in all the different directions. It shouldn't be that big of a deal, but we know that we've seen cases where you're never sure exactly which storage that the AI is going to use. So we might eventually end up with production buildings way over here, but any deliveries that happen will be made over here. So that could be an issue that we'll be facing going forward. But for the most part, since they're using trucks to move things, I don't think it'll be all that big of a deal. Okay, let's see. Do we have... Yes, we have enough space to hire 3 more. And again, we're looking for that one particular trait, and that is it. Money is not something that we're worried about. All right, we need 1 more. Nope, it didn't give it to us. Okay, let's keep going. Well, maybe, there we go. That's what we needed. Okay, now we come in and let's do some training. You can see our money, we're down to 80,000. And of course, that'll go even lower if we need to purchase additional product. That is so tempting to go ahead and max out in that endurance, but that's not the point of this playthrough, so I'm not going to do it. Okay, there we go. Now we got our 3 people. Let's go ahead and autofill. That puts them in here. Current production. Let's go ahead and do cherries here. Which reminds me, we need to purchase some more cherries. So that's going to take more of our operating profit. And cherries, let's get a couple of thousand there. Luckily, these are not very expensive, but we're also running very low on, looks like, what are those? Those are strawberries. Okay, let's see if we can afford some strawberries. So strawberries, can we get a couple of thousand? Oh yeah, that's not that bad. Okay, there you go. You see the auto trade just drops by. So now we're over 100,000, 108,000. And let's take a quick look. What were we going to need to upgrade this building? We're going to need 400,000. So that's something for us to work toward. All right, and right now I'm really liking how things are looking here. I'm not going to claim that this is the most efficient way to build out, but I think I'm looking to build these self-contained little units here where we can try to get 6 total units in the area plus the housing and the storage that we need to do all of that. So right now, of course, you can see we clearly do not have room for a second one of these at the current time and with this layout, but we've got plenty of room over here to continue to expand, and the more we expand, the more money we have the possibility of making. And I really like this start. So if we click and see what we've got here, of course, we've got our frozen amounts here, 560, 450, and about 110. Along with a little bit of product here, we have run out of cherries, it looks like. Okay, let's see. What do we have in storage here? Okay, we got a little bit of cherries there. And what do we have in here? Okay, 1,200. So that's where most of our cherries went here lately. Okay, let's go ahead and buy some more. Buy a couple of thousand. Again, trying to keep it trying to keep these amounts small enough that they don't spoil quite so quickly as we ran into a little bit earlier. So we got plenty of cherries, plenty of raspberries. Okay, we got, what, a couple of weeks there on the strawberries. Raspberries, yeah, these are about to be done. We need somebody to pick those up. And I don't think they did. I think they actually spoiled. Yep, there they go. They actually spoiled. Okay, and now we have none in storage. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay, so a little bit left there, and I think that's actually the only one that we're using. So let's go ahead and purchase a little bit more because they're going to be running out here pretty soon. But man, do these things not last very long. All right, actually, that's the wrong one. I need the raspberries. All right, so 7.9, you can see it's not even giving you 2 weeks. It's about a week and a half on the raspberries. So let's purchase maybe about 500 of those. In fact, going forward, we might steer clear of the raspberries and not really do a whole lot with them. I mean, they do make money, but it is a tight ship trying to get the timing right with those. Okay, here they come. They should pop up there in storage. Yep, there we go. Perfect. Perfect. Quite a bit of production going. Of course, that will take care of itself with the auto sell. But overall, I think for our first video here, this has been really good. We used our money, I think, very efficiently. We've gotten 5 of our production buildings already set up and fully operational. So yeah, I think this gives us a great start moving forward. Thank you very much for joining me, and stay tuned as we will continue to expand on our frozen foods here in Farm Manager 2018.